Hey guys, it's that Dividend guy, and today I wanted to give my opinion on Tesla stock. So I did just go through their earnings call, and Elon actually answered a lot of questions. It was really interesting to kind of hear, what the shareholders had on their mind, and listen to guidance and different things like the solar and energy part of the business. People ask questions about the pricing on the different models of vehicles and how they go about that, and they asked about overall guidance for the year. So overall, guys, I do like Tesla as a business. I think that they've proven that they can make a quality car, and I've actually seen a lot more Teslas in my area. I live in Iowa, so it's not. It was not very common, say 2-3 years ago, to see a Tesla on the road at all. Now, it seems like anytime I go anywhere, I see like 3 or 4 of them. So I do think that the popularity is growing for Tesla. Obviously, I think they're like the Coca-Cola of energy vehicles. I do know that there are other companies that have thrown out an all electric car, but I think that Tesla has that brand, has that moat, if you will, for the electronic vehicle. And I think that overall, I like the company. I think the real competitive advantage that they actually have isn't the specs on the car, but I think it's actually all of the miles that have been driven with Tesla and all the records that they have. It's almost like Google Maps in a way, but they have all this recording of roads, so they have all this mileage and all this, I mean, pretty much free at their disposal. um they have all this recorded drive time that they can program and better program their self-driving technology, and I think that really is the competitive advantage. I think that's something that's really overlooked with Tesla a lot, is the fact that they have so much data to go on when it comes to self-driving. And I think that's something that they share with Apple, where I know iPhone is the main driver, and of course people think that the main driver for them is their cars and how many cars they sell. I think the real competitive advantage with Apple is their actually their services sector instead of the iPhone. Where Tesla, I think that what gives it the competitive advantage is of course the brand. Elon Musk, let's be honest, is a huge reason that Tesla's winning, as well as all those miles that have been driven and recorded for Tesla with their cameras and their technology. I think overall, it's not for me because obviously it doesn't pay a dividend, and it's a bit more. It's a growth stock, right? But the thing that I think really does set this apart, because there's been a lot of other ones like Neo. There's been a couple of electronic vehicle stocks that were kind of hyped, right? There was like Helion or whatever it's called. There's been a few that I've looked into, and none of them have really, they haven't wowed me, right? Like they don't have a charismatic leader like Elon Musk. They don't have the production that Elon has. They don't have the miles driven with an electronic vehicle that Tesla has, and they don't have the footage of that, right? So I think that they are just so far ahead in this game that it's going to be difficult for somebody else to mimic what they're doing. And I think the other thing that's super important is that they actually have pricing power. So I know that they have been cutting the cost of a couple of their cars, and I know some people have been kind of ticked about that, but I do think that Tesla still has the brand power to charge a bit more for an electronic vehicle. And I do know there's tax cuts as well, but I think that's really the big pillars. The few big pillars is: one, they have Musk; two, they have all those miles driven and recorded; and then of course I think they're so far ahead in the autonomous vehicle space that it's difficult for other people to compete. Now, could somebody make an electronic car that's better? Yes, but can somebody really overtake the brand? I'm not 100% sure, because I think Tesla knows that it can charge a premium. I don't know how long that's going to last, but I do think that it is for now a pretty deep moat and a pretty good competitive advantage to have in the space. But it's honestly, guys, it's just not a stock for me. Like I said, I go for dividend growth. I go for dividend paying stocks. This pays no dividend. They do have a product, like that's a thing. They have a product people love. The things that I could see against it are, of course, the cost cutting when it comes to gigafactories, as well as um, they had to during the I think it was like late last year, but they had to instead of pay raises, they did stock compensation, um, and then of course they are cutting down the prices or the slashing prices on vehicles, which is I think it's good and bad. Like it's hard to know if that's really a negative because that just means that more people are allowed to, but then at the same time it kind of loses what I call the Apple effect, where people pay $500 for an iPhone because it's an iPhone, right? People pay 53K because it's a Tesla, right? And so some of that brand is luxury. Some of that brand is not everybody can have it, right? It's like what Louis Vuitton does. Like where, you wear Louis Vuitton, it's a $500 bag and people know that you support it's a brand thing, right? And so I think part of Tesla having that and then cutting back on it by cutting the prices of the cars might affect it overall. I think they'll get more sales, but I don't know if that necessarily helps the brand. I don't know if making it more available is good or bad for the brand, right? Because how they kind of set it up is electric cars are something that not everybody can have. Now, I know Elon himself has said, I want everybody to have electric cars, so he kind of released the blueprints to other companies. But I still do think that, day to day, I have seen more people, but it's not like everybody has an electric car. So I do think that there is a little bit of um, a little bit of a brand factor there, that an exclusivity that Tesla does have. But guys, the other reason that I would be iffy on it is I know he's had a lot. Musk himself has said he's taking Tesla private. He said he was going to hurt short sellers. Like he's had a few really questionable actions when it comes to being the CEO and leader of Tesla, and that's really one of the things that has shied me away from owning this stock. Is like I love Musk, right? I think he's great. I love what he's doing. I think it's a great benefit for society and the world as a whole. But I don't necessarily like some of the tirades he's done. So that's kind of my issue. Is I love him for the things he does right, but then there's some things that he's done that I've kind of questioned. And I'm like, I thought about buying Tesla. There's been a few times where I've looked at the balance sheet, stuff like that. I've done a decent dive on I wouldn't say deep dive, but I did a little bit of looking. And I like the financials of the company now that they, have product offerings, that people are buying. It seems like more people are buying Tesla, stuff like that. But just kind of how he's acted a couple times has made me uneasy. Like if I'm uneasy about a CEO or a leader, a founder of a company, I'm going to be less likely to buy it, right? And so that's really the difference. Is Coca-Cola for me is like a sleep easy company, right? I drink it every day. It's a product that I live with. It's always in my house. Like it's a brand I trust. And as much as I would love to own a Tesla. I think it'd be so cool. But it's not something that I would be able to sleep easy with being a stock owner. I'd own a Tesla car. I own the product, but I don't really think I'd want to own the stock. So that's really my hang up is I don't want my stock price to be at the whim of a single person. And I think that's a lot of the problem for me is that it's kind of a one-man show with Elon. As good as he is, and as much as I love the guy, I think he's done a lot of good, but I don't want my stock prices shifting that much, right? Like if you look at Berkshire, right, versus Tesla, one's way more volatile than the other, and so that's really what kind of makes me step away from Tesla as an investment. But guys, let me know down in the comments, how do you feel about Tesla? Do you guys think it's going to the moon? Do you guys have you guys been happy with the performance thus far, or has something changed fundamentally with the company and made you get out? Let me know down in the comments below. For me, like I said, I'd own the product, just wouldn't own the stock. It just doesn't have enough benefit to me as a person. I don't use it every day, right? And it doesn't pay a dividend. So, but with that being said, guys, let me know how you feel about Tesla. Let me know how you feel about Elon Musk down in the comments down below. I'm a fan. but just not for me. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit the like button and subscribe on my channel, That Dividend Guy. We need you to hit the bell notification. If you think Tesla's a great investment and you have a story on how much it's changed your life and how awesome it is, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with another update. Take care.